Shalom, shalom. This is Brother Alan back with another lesson. Back on the evils of Edom, man. Highlighting the wickedness throughout in our past, and their future, and highlighting their future. Alright, first and foremost though, I want to give all praises, honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah, Haqadash, double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, doing the work of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai in truthfulness and sincerity. So this is another wicked story, highlighting the wickedness of these devils and why they have to pay for what they've done, man. So this is going into this minister, Isaac Simmons, right? Now this man had owned land for like 3 generations in Babylon, man. He was one of the few that actually managed to own land and was quite wealthy at the time. And these crackers gonna have that, man. I'm gonna say it as it is, man. I shouldn't really say that, but I'll say this: these Edomites, the so-called white people at the time, they couldn't stand it, man. Right? So read the headline. It says black minister. We don't use the term black, but hey, black minister lynched for his land in Mississippi. Family fled in fear. This is the man right there, right? On March 26, 1944. This is 1944, man. It's not that long ago. Let's really keep it real. People still talk about the Second World War and all that stuff, man. So it's not that long ago, is it? A group of white men, Edomites, brutally lynched the Reverend Isaac Simmons. Spiritual name as well. Look at that, man. A black minister and farmer, so they could steal his land in Amite County, Mississippi. Members of his family, some of whom witnessed his murder, fled the state, fearing for their lives. The white men responsible for lynching him successfully stole the Simmons land and were never convicted for their crimes. So it was possible for them to kill a murderer, man, and take his property, and no one did anything about it. Before his death, the Reverend Simmons controlled more than 270 acres of debt-free Amite County land that his family had owned since 1877. This was very unusual among black families in the South, where racism and poverty had posed obstacles to economic advancement for generations. Right? The Reverend Simmons worked the land with his children and grandchildren, producing crops and selling the property's lumber. In 1941, a rumor spread that there was oil in southwest Mississippi. A group of 6 white men decided they wanted the Simmons land and warned the Reverend Simmons to stop cutting timber. The Reverend Simmons consulted a lawyer to work out the dispute and ensure his children would be the sole heirs to the property. On Sunday, March 26, 1944, a group of white men, Edomites, arrived at the home of the Reverend Simmons' eldest son, Eldridge, and told him to show them the property line. He agreed to do so, but while Eldridge Simmons rode with the men in their vehicle, they began to beat him and shouted that the Simmons family thought they were smart niggers for consulting a lawyer. The men then dragged the Reverend Simmons from his home about a mile away and began beating him too. They drove both Simmons' men further onto the property and ordered the Reverend Simmons out of the car, then killed him, brutally shooting him 3 times and cutting out his tongue. So they not only did they kill him, they felt it necessary to cut the men's tongue out. And that's why these devils, man, they're brighter than the earth, and the scriptures call them the basis of men. They are low, man, and they're just fucking, I have to say that's Salaki. I couldn't compose myself there. Listen, man's going as of the Lord, man. Right, I was compelled to say that, but they're wicked as hell, man, and they're just evil, right? They're evil, and they're prideful, and they're covetous, man. Like, you can't have anything. They're covetous, the most covetous nation on the earth, man. You can't have anything if they're not involved, man. And even if so, they're not even going to let you have a piece of the pie. They want to take it all. They killed a man, right, just so they could have his land, man. The men let Eldridge Simmons go, but told him he and his relatives had 10 days to abandon the family property. The white men who committed the lynching took possession of the land. The constable and sheriff concluded immediately that the Reverend Simmons had met his death at the hands of parties unknown, even though his son Eldridge and his daughter Laura were present and able to identify at least 4 of the 6 men responsible. You know, they was never going to get justice, man. It's Edomites are always on code, man. They're always on code, alright? Meaning what? They're always going to defend each other's wickedness, man. It's just in them to do so. They hate us, and that's also in them to do so. You know, that goes back to, you know, Genesis, man. All the way back to Genesis, man. The family fled Amite County over the next 2 days, fearing for their lives before their father's funeral on March 29. Eldridge remained in Amite for his father's funeral, but was taken into police custody the next day, supposedly for his own protection. Held in jail for more than a week despite being the victim, Eldridge was released from jail on April 8th and was urged to leave the county altogether. Only one of the 6 white men, Edomite men, responsible was ever prosecuted for the Reverend Simmons lynching on November 1st, 1944, more than 7 months after their father was lynched. Eldridge and his sister, Laura, were arrested in New Orleans on charges they had fled the state in order to avoid testifying as witnesses. So they did what they did, right? Murdered the father, stole the land, and then they even tried to put pressure criminalizing the victims, man. The one white man was ultimately acquitted by an all-white jury because of lack of evidence. I'm going to read this last bit there. During the era of racial terror, white mobs regularly terrorized black people, Israelites, with violence and murder to maintain the racial hierarchy and exert economic control. And this is why when these Edomites and the likes of, you know, the people that you know, deriding them basically, right, you know, the other ones that are party to their white supremacy, even though they're not Edomites, you know, like the so-called Japanese and the China, all the other nations that are constantly, you know, dick riding these Edomites, man. That's why they say, you know, you got to pull up your bootstraps. So there's no bootstraps, you know, there's no boots, man, let alone the straps, man. We have been denied economic power all over the world, man, right? So that generational wealth that these African nations can boast about, we've never stood a chance. Right? That's what it talks about, exerting economic control. These acts of lawlessness were committed with impunity by mobs who really faced arrest, prosecution, or even public shame for their actions. Israelite people could expect little protection from the law enforcement and knew that protesting their own abuse or a loved one's lynching could result in even more violence and death, because they're just evil people, man. I'll keep talking about this book that I'm trying to get, what's it called again? So let me get the name of it real quick, because they put the price up on this book now, man. It's called Without Sanctuary, man, right? And this book details, you know, plenty of pictures of these devils lynching us, you know, and you know, smiling, having a good time while they're murdering people, man. Murdering, let's get that straight, it's murder, right? But to them, we're nothing, we're worthless, we're animals, you know. 3/5 of human is what they were deemed in Babylon, man, America. That book on Amazon right now, if you used to get the hardcover, right, or there's 2 versions. One of it is £57 and 58 pence. Another one is £127 18 pence. because they try to do whatever they can to stop people from seeing, their wickedness, man. I'll read this last bit and I'll get a few scriptures, man. The Reverend Simmons was one of at least 14 black people, Israelite people, lynched in Amite County, Mississippi between 1865 and 1950. Learn more about how over 6,500 black women, men and children were victims of racial terror lynching in the US between 1865 and 1950 by reading Edgy's reports, Lynching in America and Reconstruction in America. And that's just what has been documented, man. There's more. Anyway, let's get into this. I was going to read Obadiah, but let's read Jeremiah, because it's kind of the same thing anyway. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Turn ye, flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of the Dan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. Hey man, we can't wait for this, man. Listen, we hate you Edomites, man. Alright? You so-called people, white people, we hate you. Right? And when I say that, understand that not everyone that look, that's why we use the names Edomite and Israelite and all those other names of the nations, because we don't go by the people's skin color, man. We go by what nation they are, and you cannot determine always the one's nation from the color of their skin. All right, that's why we say so-called white people, man, because not every so-called white person is an Edomite. Let's get that one straight. Right? But I'll say it again, man. We hate you Edomites, man. The Lord hates you, so we hate you, man. In fact, let's get that, man. Let's get that real quick. What am I doing? Slack here. Am I going crazy? Oh man. Right. So this is Malachi 1:1. It says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau's Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste were the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against the Lord, against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So the Lord hates you, Edomites, man. That's why, and with good reason, man. You try to destroy his people and the apple of his eye, man. So there's just some terrible things that come in your way, and not only in the destruction of your people, but your people going into captivity, man. All right, your days are gonna be of misery in the future, man. The same way you put misery upon us, it's the misery that you're gonna have, man. So yeah, let's get back into Jeremiah. Verse 9 says, if great gatherers came to thee, they would not leave some gleaning grapes. If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare. And going back to that, man, that's what I'm saying, man. We can't have nothing here. We're not supposed to, but these devils won't allow it, man. Anytime we've built up anything in this place, they say, like I said, they said, Edom, I say, well, what have you black people done? Yeah, You can't build up anything. You never built anything. You never made anything. You can't even create businesses and successfully. So, well, every time we tried to do it, you come along and destroyed it, man. So much so that now we don't even try to do that anymore, man. That's history, man. We don't try to build our own cities and towns now. We've integrated so much into the society, right? That's the very thought of trying to get away from you is now gone. We've assimilated now and accepted, being bottom of the barrel. Verse 10, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbours, and he is not. I'll jump to 12. For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. Alright, so all the things that you've done is going to come upon you, man. All the curses are going to come upon you, man. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Bozrah, which is a representation of Esau, Edom, shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes. So yeah, man, all the shit that you've done, Esau, right, is going to come upon you, man. Let's read this and I'll close out. Moreover, the word, this is Ezekiel chapter 35 and 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy, prophesy against it, because we're against Mount Seir, we're against Esau, Edom, and so is the Lord, man. First and foremost, man, we can't wait to see the death and demise of you devils, man. And so, and also for the other nations, they're going to love it when you get taken down, man, because you think you're never going to get taken down as well. That's another thing. Verse 3, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And I will make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. So that's really talking about Babylon, man. But at the end of the day, that's the headquarters, that's the main place of Esau, Edom, man, and it's set to be destroyed and set for an example. And all you Edomites, man, no matter what you look like, whether you look like Israelite, or if you're like a chocolate colored, as they say, Edomite, or whatever color you are, if you're an Edomite, you're finished, man. Now, if your lineage goes back to Esau, Edom, man, so-called white man, then you're done out here, man. Simple as that. We can't wait, man. We can't wait to repay you for all the wickedness, man. I've got hundreds of these stories I could go into about what you did, man, because you've done so much of it. And all willing, I'm gonna say this, that I can get that book and I can do some, lessons on that, man. Because not only did they do these things, but they documented it, man. They took pictures, man. Like they just caught a lion or something. Like they went on a hunt and just caught a lion, and they had the animal hanging up. That's how they viewed us, man. So they got to pay for that, man. You got a lot to pay for, Esau, man. All right. So anyway, man, that's it on that. Lord willing, this was edifying. All praises and all glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Ruchah HaKadosh, double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the man. Shalom.